I've found that there's only two kinds of people in this world, those that know how to fix an old BMW and those that don't. It's not actually a joke, it's just kind of a sad truth. And after my last episode where I failed to fix my rough-running 1997 BMW M3, I thought I might be in the latter category. But I'm not ready to give up yet. I've got a couple more ideas what might be wrong with my car. So before I ultimately wave the white flag and hand this over to my mechanic, I'm going to try to fix it once again and become the BMW mechanic I know I can be. In my last episode, I said I was sick of throwing money at this problem without knowing really what was going to fix it. But since I said that, I sold my 1998 Jeep Grand Cherokee 5.9 Limited, so I'm back to hurling money back in this engine. So today I'm going to try to find a couple more possible causes. One of them is the coil packs. There are 6 of them, 1 for each cylinder. I'm getting an error on bank 1, so I'm thinking if I gamble and just change 3, that should fix the problem if that is the issue. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to get at something called the idler control valve. I read about it before, and then some commenter, thanks for the comment, mentioned it again, and I thought, yeah, maybe that is it. And that is buried kind of under the intake, so we're gonna have to take the engine a little bit apart to get at that. I think that's probably what my problem's gonna end up being, but that's the hardest one to get to, so I'm just gonna be lazy and try to fix the easiest thing and go from there. All right, so we're going to start with the first 3 ignition coils to see if that's a problem. Those are located under here. This is just kind of a plastic valve cover. And once you get this off, then you can get to all of the coils and the spark plugs. I'm just going to start with the first 3, like I said, because if it's the problem, that should fix it just then. The first thing I have to do is figure out how to get this cover off. Aha, it's got 2 bolts. Let's get the tools and get started. This should lift off. And there are the coils. Just make sure, put that back on just to keep anything from going down inside the engine. All right, so here are the first 3. Let's give them a try. There we go. That allows that to come out. Oh. Pop that back on. All right, 2 more. All right, let's see if that was the problem. And that ticking was the unmistakable sound of a dead battery. Either the car gods thought I needed another challenge, or they're just trying to give me another subtle hint that maybe I should just give up on this whole mechanic business. But I didn't let any of that deter me. I've had this on a trickle charger now for a day. It's the next day now. I'm wearing something different, as you can see. And I'm gonna try to start it, and hopefully that fix yesterday with the new coil packs has resolved our rough idle. But fingers crossed, I'm not holding out much hope for this, but let's see what happens. Well, one of those 3 coil packs obviously wasn't my issue because it's still running rough, but on the plus side, the battery is now charged enough to start the car. Now, what the next logical thing to check is the idle control valve, but unfortunately to get that, I've got to take a whole bunch of stuff off the engine, so I might as well just cue the music and get to work. Okay, just to show you what we got going on here, this is the throttle body. This is a secondary throttle body. I'm not really sure what that is. But now we should be able to kind of move this out of the way and get to what's right below it. Right here is the idle control valve. And hopefully we can get that off and get on with the repair. All right, through the use of my very high-tech mirror, I think I've discovered that this little bracket is holding on the idler control valve. I don't know if all of them are or just one, or none of them, to be honest with you. I think it would be best if I just took a minute to consult the Googles, so I will do that now and be right back. All right, well, for some reason I can find a lot on how to clean the valve, but not really how to take it off. So I'm gonna have to do kind of my best guesswork here. There's a couple of bolts that I think could be related to this bracket it's on. There's also a small tube going into it. It looks like there's definitely at least one of these brackets holding it on, so I'll start there and just kind of work my way back, because what else am I going to do? All right, take off another bolt. Well, maybe that whole bracket swings away. We'll go for the third one too. All right, so all three brackets are removed from there. All right, so we got one hose off the idler control. How do you get the rest off? I think if I put pressure on it, it'll drop out, hopefully. Come on. It's got a plug. There is our idler control valve, and sadly, it doesn't look too bad. Let's clean it anyway. All right, so this is the idle control valve. Basically, when your engine is idling, the throttle body is not open. So this thing lets in a little bit of air to let your engine idle smoothly. You can kind of hear it's got a little valve that opens and closes to let air in. Usually when these go bad, they're pretty dirty and they don't really shake. Mine sounds pretty good. So that's a little concerning, but since I've got it out, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it. I'm just gonna use some carb cleaner on it. You can always use throttle body cleaner. I just have this handy. Spray it in there and hopefully it sounds a little bit better. I'm just gonna let this thing dry out here for a sec, then I will reinstall it. All right, so here is our newly cleaned idle control valve, and we just have to kind of do the reverse of what we did a minute ago and install this back in. So first I'm gonna start with the plug that goes to the back of it, and then it's a matter of just kind of finding its way back in there. The top portion is just kind of an O-ring, and it just slides into the bottom of the intake. You too good for your home? All right, so I believe that's in there. Oh, it's so hot. Why couldn't you break in the spring? All right, I'm just gonna snug those up and connect the bottom. Oh no, didn't I have a little red ring somewhere? Oh, of course my little seal fell in the engine. Luckily I'm prepared. I've got my little extendo grabby thingy. Got it. All right, moment of truth. All right, let's give it one last shot. Let's see if it'll run smoothly. Just really hoping it'll just realize it's fixed. Your wipers work. That's at least one thing. Unfortunately, this episode is going to end exactly like the last one did, in utter and total defeat. I have no idea what is causing this rough idle. I've changed everything that I thought it could possibly be. I started with a tube in the vacuum system, then the masked airflow sensor, then the oxygen sensor, then I changed some ignition coils, and then I cleaned out the idle control valve, and none of those have solved the problem. So unfortunately, now I really am gonna have to wave the white flag because I'm just out of ideas. So I'm gonna have to get this off to my BMW mechanic to see if they can sort it out. I'm sure they'll be able to. In the meantime, I'm gonna do some cosmetic work on this car because that's all I'm apparently good for at this point. So on another disappointing note, it's still broken, but thanks for watching.